All right, y'all. So the energy that I'm picking up on today is really someone who is at a threshold. And I feel like many of you can already sense this in your spirit. Um, I think that we've come along far enough in our spiritual evolution or our ascension that we can kind of pinpoint when we are standing at a threshold, right? Or we can kind of tell or gauge where it is that we're at in our spiritual journey. And I say that because the very first card that we have out here is the Two of Wands. And this is extremely significant because this card is all about perspective, direction, and the awareness that your current reality can no longer contain the version of yourself that is trying to emerge. This is someone who's trying to figure out, like, all right, where do I go from here? And I see that someone is really looking outward, almost like you're at the almost like you're standing at the edge of your old life while quietly peeking into the new one. Okay. This is like that in between realms type of energy, in between worlds. And I really do feel like someone who has been stuck in old routines or old patterns or old cycles, even old ways of thinking. And now, spirit is beginning to show you another path. But the interesting thing about the Two of Wands is that it's not fully in action yet. Okay, although you want to take this action, you can see the path ahead of you. Um, you're not moving just quite yet. You're trying to make a decision. You are becoming aware. Okay, this is a card of realization, and it's really the moment where your soul starts to whisper, like, there has to be more. There has to be more than this. There's another path for me. There's another doorway. If you could see them looking through the door. And for many of you, I do feel like you've already begun to disconnect emotionally from certain people or certain environments, even certain identities that you once attached yourself to. And because your spirit sees a new door, this is why this is happening. And once your spirit sees this new door, it's like you can never fully unsee it again. Um, and whatever that door looks like for you, like sometimes, people will show you their true colors. You can never unsee it again. Sometimes there is an opportunity that is meant for you and you just cannot unsee it. Like you have to now wonder what would happen if I took this new path. And that is really where I see that someone is at right now. I see that something within you has shifted. There's something that has awakened within you, even. And now you're just really trying to figure out, like, where do I go from here? What's next? The Two of Wands and Two of Pentacles. All right. We have 22. That can be significant to someone. I know that master number 22, it's all about like building. It's about a master manifester. It's someone who's intentional with the direction that they're going. And this is where the energy becomes very interesting because the Two of Pentacles is now showing me that someone is trying to bring balance in between those two worlds. And I almost see someone holding energetic weight in both hands. If you can, look at this card, he does. He has energy in both hands. And you're trying to stabilize yourself, really just trying to maintain grounded while simultaneously undergoing this transformation. This is someone I see as a spiritual warrior. Again, someone who is very strong in their spirituality. Going through these things or going through this ascension is not for the weak because being in between worlds or seeing a new path that you want to take but not yet acting on that, it can be destabilizing. It can have you questioning a lot, like, what am I doing, like what's going on here? But I do really see that you're trying to maintain your grounding, and this is deeply spiritual. I really do feel like you are in between realms right now. One foot is still connected to the old version of yourself, your old life, your old comfort zones, even old timelines, old relationships, right? And then there's another part of you that is stepping into a completely different frequency, a completely different reality, a different embodiment. Maybe some of you are starting different jobs or starting new career paths, or maybe some of you are moving. Maybe new relationships are coming in, but you're not quite finished with the old story yet. And because you're in this in between phase, again, you may feel unstable at times. You may feel uncertain, but that's all right. There's always a surrender that's available for you. And one moment you may feel fully aligned and super powerful, And the next moment, you might feel emotional or overwhelmed or even the need to pull back. But Spirit is really saying that this transition is natural. Okay. You were made for this, you have been prepared for this. Um, and really, this is what rebirth feels like before you fully anchor yourself into the body, right? And really, before you anchor yourself into this new reality, you're learning how to energetically hold a new frequency while still releasing the residue of the old one. And I feel like some of you are trying to understand, like, how do I move forward without abandoning parts of myself? Or how do I evolve without feeling guilty? And, or how do I choose myself, like, without feeling like I'm hurting others? It's kind of a little bit tied to the last reading that I had, but anyways, I won't get into that. But Spirit keeps bringing me back to this balance because the Two of Pentacles is all about someone who is maintaining a balance. Um, and this is not about like recklessly running into a new life. Okay, this is why you are taking your time. This is why you're at this threshold, is because you're not in a rush to just jump into something new blindly. You want to see, you want to, just make sure that this is the best option for you. You're really learning about discernment. This is about conscious alignment. And this is really about asking, like, what truly serves my highest evolution right now. Okay. All right. And then we have the Five of Wands. Okay. And this card, the Five of Wands, is about resistance. Okay. I feel resistance. And let's see where that resistance is coming from. Like, like conflict or internal tension, maybe even external tension. Because whenever somebody steps into a higher level of consciousness, there is often friction before alignment. Your old self resists this death. Okay, the ego, it resists the surrender. Certain people resist your evolution because of your growth. It forces them to confront where they themselves have chosen to remain stagnant. And for some of you, this is an internal conflict. It's the battle between fear and expansion, or between comfort and purpose. The battle between, like, who you were programmed to be and who your soul actually came here to be. But for others, I do feel like there are external energies around you, possibly competing energies, distracting energies, chaotic energies, almost like certain people can feel that you're shifting, and either consciously or unconsciously they are trying to pull you back to the old version of yourself. And it's important that we recognize, that everyone is not out here to get us. Sometimes people are just so stuck, or you know in their ways of living, or in old systems, outdated ways of living or being, that when they see that you change, they want to keep you, they want to hold you back, not necessarily out of malice. Sometimes they may think it's out of love, but you're not being asked to worry about that. Like, you have to choose and make the best decisions for yourself. So sometimes walking through this door may require you to leave some relationships, people, places, and things behind. um, but Spirit is really saying just to be mindful of what you entertain during this transition, because as you step into this new door, fully, just be mindful of what you're allowing to come through that door with you. All right. Um, uh, um, Pay attention to where your focus is. I always like to say, your focus is an investment in the creation of your reality. So everything that you're giving your attention to begins to become real in your experience. So just be mindful of even the thoughts that you're thinking, what seeds that you're planting in your mind. Are they outdated? Are they out of fear? Okay, just pay attention to what you're bringing to what you're bringing with you in this next season. Um, and really, there's always going to be tests, new levels, new devils type of energy. Not necessarily evil, but like energetic distractions. These are the things that pull your focus away from you when you're trying to get into alignment. And I really do feel like Spirit wants you to understand that not everything deserves access to your energy anymore. You are exclusive. And you have to understand that. Like your energy and your presence to be around, it is a blessing. Okay. I feel like you're someone who has the ability to shift the energy of rooms just by your presence being there. So if you're that powerful, your daily interactions and what it is that you give your focus to, um, it's so important that you are aware of it. All right. And really not every, like sometimes, like I said, we're going to go through tests like new levels and devils. Not every battle deserves your participation. Not every trigger deserves your response. Not every opinion deserves your emotional response. And not every invitation is going to be aligned with your future. So maybe there's old things that you used to entertain, old invitations that you would accept, but this is a season where you must be discerning as to what it is that you're accepting. I'm hearing amplification, like things are going to be amplified in your reality based off of what you give your energy to. So, this, you've already overcome, old timelines that once felt impossible to escape. And you've already surrendered previous versions of yourself. So you got this. Okay. There's nothing to be worried about. Um, so this next transition it's not here to destroy you. It's here to refine you. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. 5 5. Okay. So we have 2 2 and then we have 5 5. So as you're bringing things into balance, fives are all about change. And change sometimes it can feel hard. It can look harsh, maybe to even other people. I think, yeah, I just spoke on that. Maybe to other people outside. I feel like, this energy, it really does feel emotional, this Five of Pentacles, because I feel like there's certain people, places, or energies just that simply cannot make it with you in this next chapter. I said that. And it can be painful because growth often requires separation, and it's not because we hate anyone or not because they're a bad person or anything, but because the frequencies are no longer aligned. As we move into this new 5D based reality, everything is about your frequency. Everything has to be in alignment. um, Frequency wise, things will not stick just because of the title of the relationship or the longevity or the history. Like if there's not a alignment within the core of you and whatever it is that you're connecting to, then it will not stick. Okay. And that's just the way things are working. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you are experiencing that already. And I do feel like some of you are grieving versions of yourself. I'm sorry, I feel like some of you are grieving these connections more than the actual connection itself. Again, you're grieving the potential that these connections may have had, or maybe the memories that are attached to it, or the familiarity, or the comfort, even. And Spirit really just keeps saying, do not abandon yourself trying to carry these energies that are simply not meant for your future, because some people are assignments and others are soul assignments. And not everyone is meant to walk with you forever. All right. I also feel like some of you may have temporarily, felt isolated during this transition, or maybe you do. Like you're, in between worlds, like where is spirit? Maybe you feel too evolved for the old spaces, but not fully anchored into these new spaces just yet. And that really can feel lonely sometimes. But I hear spirit saying that this isolation is sacred. Okay. Take this time to be extremely decisive about what you want to incorporate in your future, what next steps you want to take. Stillness, I love me a good sacred stillness. I will say that. I even have a line of product that I have named Sacred Stillness, because when we are in that transition, or when we're in that in between state where we're just kind of hanging there, that is when you receive the most divine insights. You will hear the loudest guidance from spirit. You will see the most synchronicities is when you sit in this sacred stillness, not worried about the past or not concerned about what the future may look like. Okay. Oh, thank God. All right. And so then we have the death card. This is awesome because This is not a physical death, right? It's the death of an eagle. It's the death of a timeline. It is an identity death, and this is the shedding of an old skin. So I really do feel like many of us are, crossing this energetic threshold right now, and we're going through some sort of initiation, or a doorway, right? A point of no return. It's like once we walk fully in this door, we are not going to be able to step back into our old life. Once you fully align with this truth, once you fully surrender to the transformation taking place within you, everything is going to change. Your relationships are going to change, your habits, your desires, environments, even your nervous system, right? Your perception changes. That is such a blessing when perception changes. It gives you an entire new outlook or an entire new view of your situation, of your world. Your reality changes when you go through this death transformation. But because the death card doesn't remove things randomly, it really does remove things that no longer can survive in the frequency that we're becoming. And spirit is saying to stop fearing the ending, because the ending is actually the beginning. I don't know who told us or where this thing around death, the energy of death, has come from, like why it's so deeply tied to fear. When we let something go, something better comes in all the time. We make space for something better. Okay, this is a true rebirth. This is like a resurrection energy. And this is your soul reclaiming itself. I really do love that. And what's really beautiful is that you're fully prepared for this, okay? That's the beautiful thing about it, is that no matter how much you are concerned or worried about leaving these things in the past, like you are fully prepared for this, okay? This guy is riding on a white horse. Death is not afraid, of anything. So you should not be afraid of this transition that death is bringing in. Death says there's no need to fear leaving the past behind. And look at that. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Lover's card, and this is exactly why there's no need to fear what is being left behind, because there's something so much better coming for you, something that's in alignment with your soul. Now, this can speak of a relationship or any, it could be like the Lovers can speak of a soul connection, a twin family relationship, or it can just speak of relationships coming in that resonate with your soul. Um, there it feels like a hidden blessing with it being at the bottom of the deck, honestly, because these are the things that you don't see coming just yet. The Lovers is all about harmony. It's about alignment. The Lovers is a sacred union, destined or fated encounters, things that really do resonate, relationships that resonate on a soul level. And I feel like once you cross this threshold, once you fully, walk into this door, you begin to magnetize experiences, people, opportunities, and relationships that actually match who you are becoming. Now you are like your field of resonance has become so strong. You're a clear signal once you cross this threshold to the universe. Um, and I do want to just touch on that real quick too. The importance of being intentional, or being decisive, and how that makes you such a clear signal to the universe to bring more of those experiences into your life. All right. And, you know, you're just going to be magnetizing all of these things. It's not about, who you had to become to survive. This is just about who you truly are, who you are at this moment. And the Lovers also speaks about choices. It's about choosing alignment over attachments, or truth over illusions. Okay. This is evolution over comfort. That's what I was saying earlier, is that you're just afraid to leave these relationship dynamics behind because of the illusion, or because of the attachments, or because of the comfort, right? But there's something deeper that is meant for you, that is connected to your soul. And I do feel like spirit is asking you, are you going to trust this transformation enough to walk through this door? How many times has spirit showed us when we do leave the old things behind, something better is always there for us? Because this new reality is already waiting for you. Your soul tribe is waiting for you. The aligned love that you desire so much is waiting for you. Your abundance and your peace is right through this door. But first, you must release the version of yourself that believes that you're unworthy of receiving it. And this reading does feel like a sacred crossing. It's like an initiation into a completely new cycle. And although the transition, it may feel uncomfortable just at times, I really do keep hearing that you are not falling apart. You are truly becoming. And I'm just going to leave the message right here, guys. I really do hope that this resonates. If it does, please leave a like or a comment, subscribe. Let's get to know each other. All right. This is my new channel, and I really do want to get to know my viewers and establish that connection. And it's an energetic transference when you do subscribe, when you do like, when you do comment. All of your energy transfers over here to me through this little thing we call a phone, and I can pick up on it and give you a better message that resonates for you. Okay. So, y'all have a beautiful day. I love you all so much, and I'll see you later. Bye.